What's up out there to the family? I just decided to do a live, an impromptu live, and I don't know how many people I'm gonna be getting in, but I got a lot of topics to talk about, so I decided to do live because me putting out pre-recorded videos, I never be able to, cover all these stories. There's a lot going on right now in the news, and we're gonna walk through and talk about them how we normally do. I don't know how many people gonna come in, but let me get right to it. The first thing I wanted to talk about was have any of the family seen WAC 100 and in a compromising situation, this, that, or the other. And I don't respect, WAC 100, because all I see WAC 100 doing, truth be told, is sitting up around a bunch of, white men, Adam 22, Vlad TV, and constantly talking greasy and gossiping about black people. So I don't respect this WAC 100 like that. You know what I mean? Because he ain't about no nation building. He ain't talking about nothing about no black upliftment. All he talking about is, gossiping about other black people every time he up on a white man platform, truth be told. And I don't respect that, nor do I rock with it. That shows what kind of man he is, and they're saying that they got brother Nipsey Hussle in a compromising, situation, which I don't believe. I just think a lot of people, they want to say stuff, after people are gone, and I don't respect that, because you saying something when a person gone, they ain't even really here to defend themselves. They ain't here to defend themselves, because I didn't hear WAC 100 speaking greasy on Nipsey Hussle when he was alive. And I also heard WAC 100 coming out the side of his face, talking about Pac too. I forget as to what he said about Pac. When WAC 100, rather, to me, he acts like a woman, you know what I mean? Just sitting around there constantly gossiping. Women do that, constantly gossiping, running their mouth about people and stuff like that. But and some women don't even do that, so that's worse, but he just gossips and, spews around talking about like dirt about other black people. I don't like that, because it's done in bad faith. WAC 100 ain't trying to build nothing. He just a dusty old Negro sitting around talking about other black folks, and I don't respect it, nor do I rock with it, because he's the performative type. WAC 100, he's a performative Negro that the dominant white society loves to have around, and be performative for him, perform for him, like on the plantation, perform for me, Negro. And he'll sit up right up there and do a WAC 100. He gets a kick out of talking about black people, but you won't hear him talk about nobody white. He quiet as a church mouse, he quiet on that topic, tucking his tail. Yeah, I get the door for your boss. I get the door for your master, on that type of time. And I don't respect with it. I don't respect it, nor do I rock with it. You know what I mean? And for Vlad to sit up here, and Vlad said he got the picture or something like that too of Nipsey Hussle in a compromising position, and Vlad TV said he got the photo of it too, but he won't release it or something like that. But Vlad TV, you ain't nothing but a culture vulture, and I don't for the life of me know why black folks continually go on up there to Adam 22, especially Vlad TV. You know what I mean? Because these types of people we got to be pushing out of the culture. I don't give a damn how big I will become as a content creator. I would never go up there to Vlad TV. I would stay far away from him. I don't give a damn how much money's offered. There's just some things I ain't willing to do, and I ain't going up to no Vlad TV. You know what I mean? No matter how big the bag is, I don't want to sit there and talk with him. I think he's a culture vulture that comes in and exploits black culture, takes from black culture, and gives nothing back. And he got people up there telling on themselves, what happened. He wanted to know what kind of gun you used, what kind of car you drove, and some black folks will sit up there and get to telling them everything, everything under the sun. And I don't rock with Vlad TV, you know what I mean? Nor do I rock with Adam 22. Especially don't rock with Vlad TV, nor do I rock with WAC 100. I especially don't rock with WAC 100, and his name speaks for itself, because all he does is sit up there and talk bad about black folks. And I don't rock with anybody that does that, because you black, my dude, and you sitting up there talking and spewing these kind of things, people that can't even defend themselves. Nipsey Hussle ain't even here. He can't defend himself. And Pac can't defend himself either. If these brothers was around, I know WAC 100 to be quiet as a church mouse. He wouldn't have nothing to say. You know what I mean? And all he does is sit up there and gossip. Man, that's bad. It looks bad, and it looks like it's done in bad faith. He only sits up there around white folks and gossips about black folks, and that makes him look sad. And if he did have a video on Nipsey Hussle, which I don't believe he does. You know, I don't believe he got anything on Nipsey Hussle. Nipsey Hussle was 100, if you ask me. And why I really like brother Nipsey Hussle, he was about nation building, trying to put black people together, not separate and divide them. And this is all that WAC100 tried to do. WAC100 ain't trying to build nothing, put no institutions or anything in the black community. All he trying to do is sit up there and gossip around a bunch of white men, and that's cowardice. But if you got so much gotta tape on Nipsey Hussle, how does that make you look? You know what I mean? WAC100. But I'm all for WAC100. He's a lost cause, and you know he's a washed up old head that's just gonna sit up there. You know he ain't gonna change because he's set in his ways. So I ain't got no time for no dang on WAC100. But let's move right along. What else did I want to talk about? Brother Black Sam, Nipsey Hussle's brother. Since we talking about Nipsey Hussle, he started a restaurant out there in California, and it's on Melrose Avenue, I believe, and it's called Marathon Burgers. And I salute this, you know what I mean? And I think he's thinking about turning this into a franchise, you know what I mean? And they say that they keeping Nipsey Hussle's legacy alive with this Marathon Burgers. And I salute this, you know what I mean? Brothers out there in the community, putting other black folks on, and just really being about something instead of talking about something, really doing something. And yeah, I salute that. And if I'm ever out there in California, I'm gonna definitely go to this Melrose Burger. Now they say they got a wide variety, a diverse menu. They even got plant-based burgers, so that sounds good. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna check this out if I'm ever out there. You know, and this Melrose Burgers in the collaboration, they did a collaboration when they opened with the SpongeBob. I guess they got a SpongeBob meal going on with SpongeBob burgers and things like that because it was SpongeBob's 25th anniversary. So they did some kind of collaboration with that, you know, and that's what's up. You know, Nipsey Hussle was always a hustler and always was about, you know, the people for that matter. You know what I mean? And they say Black Sam is just trying to keep his legacy alive and, you know, keep that marathon going, you know, make sure the marathon continues. And I salute Black Sam on that, you know, and everyone involved with it, you know, and it sounds like it's going to be popping, you know, and I like to see them take this thing on the road too once they get established, you know, wherever they at, because I think they were, you know, hitting on taking this thing and making it into like some kind of franchise. And, you know, that's can only involve, you know, black people being employed and getting jobs. So I'm in favor of that. You know what I mean? Black jobs being created, black opportunities being made. So salute to Black Sam on that move of making that marathon burger. You know, that's going to be on it popping. You know what I mean? But moving right along. Has anyone seen that? I ain't got nobody in here, but I'm going to just freestyle and go off the top of the dome. Has anyone seen where, and people could watch it on the playback, you know what I mean? They probably don't send out none of my alerts because I noticed they do that with a lot of my videos. They try to suppress my videos, you know, because of the stuff I talk about. So they probably didn't send out no alerts to my subscribers, you know what I mean, that actually subscribe to me and watch my videos. I could see them doing that. You know, they be trying to heavily censor what people are talking about, especially when you coming from a black empowerment perspective of trying to empower your people. They don't like that, so they try to suppress the video. But has anyone seen where Joe Biden has pardoned his son? And evidently Joe Biden said he wouldn't pardon his son, but now he's pardoned his son. You know, because I seen a video saying he said he wouldn't pardon his son, this, that, and the other. But that can only be expected, him pardoning his son. But that just speaks to the Democrats' lying nature. You know, I don't rock with the Democrats, nor do I rock with the Republicans, but we've been that loyal voting base as foundational Black Americans to the Democratic Party for 50 or 60 years, and never once have they produced anything for our vote. You know, he gonna let his son out, but I would have done the same thing. But I could think of a million other black people he could have let out of jail, you know, and gave pardons to Assata Shakur, Larry Hoover, Mubi Abu-Jamal, a whole bunch of brothers and sisters that he could have, you know, done this to. But, you know, he chose to let his son out. And that's very telling that the Democrats are nothing but liars. You know what I mean? Because people are going to do what's in their best interest. So, you know, I get that part, but it just speaks to the Democrats being nothing but liars. And now what's going to happen since he done this, you know, let his son out, is now this gave Trump ammunition he needs. Now Trump gonna go back. You know he's gonna do this when he gets in office. He gonna go let those people out of those insurrections where they rushed the White House, you know, and he gonna let those people out and pardon them people. And now he got an excuse for hell, you know. Joe Biden did it, so why can't I? You know, and it's only to be expected, you know. So that's going to be his, you know, thing. When he's going to do when he gets in the office. Well, hell, you know, Joe Biden done pardoned his son. You know, I'm pardoning my people and letting them out. So yeah, that's to be expected. You know what I mean? Politics is just dirty on both ends. I really never put too much hope into. I never put any hope into politicians. I put hope into myself, you know, and especially we as foundational Black Americans, if we want stuff done, built, we got to start doing it for ourselves, start, you know, getting together, pulling on some collective resources, getting out there with brothers and sisters of the community, because these damn politicians ain't got our best interests in mind. You know what I mean? And I also seen, you know, speaking about politicians and things like that, something out there in California, they trying to, you know, claim some kind of reparations or something like that. I seen, you know, just in passing on the internet when scrolling, you know, they trying to say that they got some reparations for descendants of slaves out there in California, but descendants of slaves could be anybody, because Jamaicans, for my knowledge, is descendants of slaves. Puerto Ricans is descendants of slaves. That word got to be more tightly laced. You know, it got to say freedmen on it, foundational Black Americans or something of that nature, where it's really specifying our lineage. Because you know, when people just say descendants of slaves, anybody's a descendants of slaves. So anybody could really attach to that and, you know, come and latch themselves onto it. So we got to watch the trick words, because a lot of time they want to make it look like something is being done for us, when in all actuality, absolutely nothing at all is being done for us foundational Black Americans. And reparations is something that needs to be atoned for. You know, that debt got to be paid, because we ain't going to let up off of it, despite how much they want to get us to try to stop talking about reparations, this, that, or the other. We ain't gonna let up off of reparations. You know, reparations is a must. Reparations should have been paid, but they try everything under the sun to not, you know, have to be held accountable for reparations. Reparations need to be, you know, done quick, fast, and in a hurry. But back to Joe Biden. Joe Biden was always going to release his son. You know, that's his son. You know, I couldn't see him doing anything else. So he told a bold-faced lie, though, in that regard, because I did see video of him, you know, saying that he wouldn't let his son out. So that was a bold-faced lie. But I don't put too much hope, like I said, into these particular party, the right or the left, you know, and it's very telling that, you know, they'll do something for everyone else, these Democrats, but play a game of benign neglect when it comes to foundational Black Americans. I don't respect it, nor do I rock with it, but let's continue on. Same thing the next thing I wanted to talk about was, has anyone seen the video that's going viral of the young sister up there in Walmart, you know, tearing up shelves, throwing bottles of ketchup on the floor, and just really wilding out up there in Walmart, you know, and bystanders were trying to talk her down, and everyone was trying to talk her down. Then they even tried to like hold her, not really restrain her, but just hold her to, you know, so she couldn't, you know, create any more damage. I don't know where her parents were, you know, but she was knocking stuff off the shelves. It seemed like she might have been mad. She couldn't have got it. She ain't get her way or something. You know, she ain't get something she wanted or something like that. And she just started destroying the store. You know, and if that was me when I was younger, man, I would have got my teeth knocked out by my mom doing that. You know what I mean? Even in public. But nowadays, you know, you got to be a little bit more careful of when you do things to your kids, even punish them, even when you're doing it out of a good heart and it ain't abuse, even tapping them on the behind, you got to be careful of, because nowadays they don't even want you putting your hands on your kids, you know, even tapping them on the behind just to, you know, give them tough love and show them the right direction to go. They don't even want that. But yeah, that girl deserved a little spanking on the rear behind from her parents, because I know I would have, you know, just destroying the store. And my mom probably would have made me clean it up and, you know, work back to pay, you know, them some money. Because I remember a story when I was young. I was real young. I didn't know no better. I was just, you know, being a kid, and I didn't even mean it, but I went in the store and I stole like a bag of chips or something. My mom found out. She made me return the bag to the store, and she made me like clean up in the brother's store with a Black man that owned this particular store. So she made me clean up in the brother's store, you know, and pay back that money, you know, basically teaching me tough love, you know, teaching me, you know, you don't do that. And that instilled a lot in me, you know, so we got to get back to them kind of things, you know, especially in the Black community, you know, showing our kids lessons behind things like, you know, you do something, there's repercussions, but I also want you to learn this lesson, not just peace, sister, the golden child. Crazy United Healthcare. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that United Healthcare thing. That was crazy. I think that might have been an inside job, but I'm trying to hold that for later because that's like, the grand finale, before I get off of here. That was crazy though. I don't think that was just, your regular old Joe Smo. I think that was something more to that, if you ask me. But I was talking about that young girl, that young sister that was going around destroying Walmart. She deserved to be tapped on the behind for doing that, because I know I would have. If I was a kid, I would have got my rear end tapped. I heard they denied a claim. Oh, okay. Yeah, I would have got my rear end tapped if I was that young sister in Walmart destroying it like that, especially if I was young, and going around destroying that. My mom would have let me have it up there in Walmart, but I don't know all the logistics to it. I don't even know where her parents were, because it was like store patrons and stuff trying to like hold her and make sure she didn't go on more of a rampage destroying the store. So I don't know what all that was about, but let's move right along. What else I wanted to talk about? Has any of the family heard they got a Black-owned grocery store up there in Chicago? And if I'm ever in Chicago, I'm gonna support this and go to this. It's called the Living Fresh Market, and it's at 7520 Roosevelt Road, Forest Park, Illinois. Yeah, I'm gonna go to this. It's a solely black-owned grocery store, and we don't got too many of them. I'll go out of my way to support stuff when I find it like this, because in all actuality, we don't got no black-owned grocery stores and things like that. I didn't hear about the girl. Oh yeah, that little girl, she was crazy, just going around crazy in Walmart, just destroying it, knocking stuff off the shelf. I think she didn't get her way or something. Maybe she wanted something in the store and it didn't show her parents, but I don't think, she got what she wanted, and that's why she did it. I'm about to rewind the live. Okay, sister. Yeah, but what was I talking about? The black-owned grocery store, the Living Fresh Market. Yeah, and they say that they help black-owned small. Well, they said black-owned at first, and you know how they try to play the trickery game with the word. They were talking about they help small businesses, black-owned businesses, put their merchandise into the store and get recognized. But then they started talking about minorities, this, that, and the third. But I don't know what that was about. Maybe the news put that in there, because the news sometimes the companies be really about black empowerment, and then they try to slip that word minority in there to throw the whole thing off, and the news be doing this. So if they really helping out black businesses, I'm with that. I'm with that all day every day, because they say they help out small black-owned businesses get their products up in the grocery store, and put that on their shelves to get them recognized out there in the community. But then they came around with the word minority. So I don't know, but I'm definitely going to support this Living Fresh Market up there in Chicago if I'm ever up in the area, because we don't have too many black-owned grocery stores. And if we got something like that, we got to make sure at the black community that we out there supporting stuff like that. While I lived near there, I didn't know they were black-owned. Yeah, because I seen a video on TikTok. Someone sent it to me of a sister. She don't even live in here. I think the sister was actually from down south, and I don't know where she was from. I don't want to lie, but she was like a far distance, I guess, from Illinois. So she said she traveled a good maybe hour or something like that, just to go to that grocery store. And we got to make sure we do things like that, because sometimes it's about just, playing the long game, supporting that, because when we support our black-owned businesses in the long run, that benefits us all, because that creates more black-owned jobs, and they put more black people on, and we keep the money in our community. Because we got to start making sure, like, even if we got to drive an extra 20 minutes, if we got something black owned, we got to make sure we do that, because we got to keep that money in our community, instead of, as soon as we get our money, take it to these big wig companies like Walmart, this, that, or the other. It used to be called Ultra Fresh. Okay, Ultra Fresh. I know they were sold out. They didn't know it was black owners. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. Oh, okay, sister, no problem. Yeah, I didn't. So you're up there by Chicago, huh? Yeah, or in Chicago. Yeah, I got to get up there to Chicago. They sold it, typo. Okay. Yeah, I want to get up there to Chicago. I heard it's a lot of, like, despite what the news be putting out, the news always wants to propagate black on black crime, this, that, or the other. But I hear it's a lot of black folks in Chicago, you know, that are really business oriented and trying to really build up and do something for the Black community. So I really want to get up there to Chicago and, you know, go to the Black community and patronize some of them shops, some of them mom and pop Black owned shops, like them restaurants and things like that. Cause I got another sister on TikTok. She follows me and she's up out of Chicago, I believe. I don't know exactly where, but she got a Black owned cake company. You know, she bakes pastries and stuff like that. And I like to go support stuff like that. You know, I like to give Black owned businesses my last dollar. You know, I'm tired of I want to get away from dealing with the Walmarts and these big wig companies, because they don't give a damn about, you know, no Black empowerment, this, that, or the other. All they about is taking the money. You know, I'm into keeping the money in the community. Even if it's a Black community miles away, I would like them to have it before a Walmart or one of these big wig massive companies. But let's continue. The next thing I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I gotta pull a video for this one. This is crazy too. Hold on. It was a school shooting out there in some part of California, family, and I just seen it. Somebody just sent me the video. It was a school shooting out there in California. 2 kindergartners have been wounded. So I'm gonna play the video. We're gonna talk about it. Fair use. Who
sustained gunshot wounds. Both boys, 1, 5, 1, 6, both attended the school and were in kindergarten. Those
2 kindergartners have been shot out there in California in a school shooting, and they critically wounded. But Sister the Golden Child says, yes, I live in Elmhurst, Illinois, a suburb of like Forest Park. Okay. Yeah, I want to get up there to that Chicago area. I've never been. I'm in Pennsylvania, but I want to get up there to that area because I hear a lot of good things despite what the news be putting out. I heard they got like a lot of Black shops up there. I got to go up there because I want to patronize some of them and see what they're about.
2 children were transported to local hospitals. They are currently in extremely critical condition. We, at this point, believe that we have identified the subject responsible for this shooting.
It's nice. Yeah, I got to get up there.
I am not at a point now where I can provide you with his identity. We have received some information that he made an appointment to come to the school and meet with an administrator. His statement to school officials was that he wanted to explore the possibility of enrolling a family member as a student at the school. He did meet with a school administrator. I'm told that meeting was cordial. There wasn't anything about the meeting that gave rise to concerns. We're trying to determine the veracity of that statement as to whether or not he actually was there to enroll or talk about enrolling a student, or if that was instead a ruse to get onto the campus. We have received some information that leads us to believe that the subject responsible for this shooting targeted this school because of its affiliation with the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Wow, that's crazy. The school, the shooter went there, you know, tried to register a kid out there in California. He said he had, you know, wanted to register a kid. I don't know if he had a kid with him, but he wanted to register one of his family members for school. Then he came back and shot it. Now the police saying he might have did this because the school had ties. They believe that he done this rather because the school had ties to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. You know, and this is, you know, what I'll be saying. A lot of things, you know, people are doing now based off of religion, programming, you know, and I don't knock religion, but I'm not for religion. I'm more spiritual, but as long as it's empowering you, because I know religion helps a lot of people too. But on the flip side of that coin, a lot of things were done in the name of religion. A lot of murders, this, that, and the third was done in the name of religion, truth be told. Now, this guy, you know, he was whacked out, but, you know, he probably has some programming, some religious programming or something like that in him too, you know, because they say that he done the school shooting because of the school had ties to the Seventh-day Adventist Church or something like that, which is crazy, you know, and now 2 young kindergartens are critically wounded, you know, and hopefully them young kids pull through, you know, because this is a sad story. I don't like when people do stuff to the kids because the kids, nobody, period, but especially not the kids, because the kids is the innocent in the society. Let them alone, you know, and you hear more of these school shootings on the rise, and this stuff is crazy, you know what I mean? And the coward, from another video I seen, the coward went into the school playground, which was nearby, and took his own life, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the time these people are cowardly. They don't want to be held to justice, you know, so they end up taking their own life. The same thing with that no good, dirty white supremacist police officer that was going around raping sisters out there in Kansas. You know what I mean? And Jay-Z brought that to the light through his Team Rock organization, because they was trying to sweep that under the rug, truth be told. And before he could be brought to justice, you know, when they was picking a jury for his trial to start, his criminal trial to start, this coward went and took his own life. See, a lot of these people that do these crimes and things like that, they just cowardice. They don't want to be held accountable, so they try to take the easy road out and taking their own life. But let's continue. What else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I got to pull a video for this too. I wanted to talk about something else in Chicago, sister, the Golden Child. They had something up there for Fred Hampton, and I like it. You know, I like the optics of it. It was a bunch of black folks standing around, putting their fists in the air, and I stand with this. You know what I mean? I guess it had his son up there, you know, Fred Hampton Jr. and Fred Hampton's baby's mother was up there, his kid's mother, the Fred Hampton Jr.'s mother, rather.
10 minutes.
Rain,
Fair
sun,
use, fair
or
use.
bitter cold. It was 10 minutes of fists clenched and raised for the 55th anniversary of the assassination of Fred Hampton.
We have to maintain our movement.
On December 4th, 1969, Chicago police and the FBI saw the then deputy chairman of the National Black Panther Party as a threat during the height of the civil rights movement. It's widely known they drugged Hampton before raiding his house on Monroe Street, where they shot and killed him while he was sleeping in bed.
Yeah, that's crazy. That, you know, that's very cowardice, you know, to do that to a brother while he was sleeping in bed, you know. And they had that COINTELPRO informant, that William O'Neill, you know, who came there trying to act like he wanted to get down and be a part of the Black Panther Party. And they said this guy then gave, you know, out the blueprints to Fred Hampton's home and, you know, told him how to get in there, you know, and lead him right to Fred Hampton, you know. And they took Fred Hampton out because a lot of the times what the dominant white society don't like is somebody that speaks truth. And, you know, when you speak truth to power, that's more, you know, that's more harmful to the dominant white society than you getting out here, you know, with a gun and going at people. You know, that's, you know, they look at that as a threat too. But somebody that speaks truth to power, that can influence people, that's a great threat to the dominant white society. This is why when you speaking so much truth to power, they try to send people at you to bring you down or discredit you or to put you in compromising positions so they can hang something over your head. Now they say, oh, we got this Negro. You know, we got a picture of him doing something, and they use that so you don't get out here and speak truth and, you know, influence people, because they don't want. And the number one thing with going back to that COINTELPRO, and even J. Edgar Hoover, they major thing was to stop the rise of a black messiah. But let's continue.
Hampton's friend Mark Clark was also killed that night.
When the shooting started and I felt it going into bed, I jumped on top of Chairman Fred to cover him. And it was, I didn't think about it, I just did it.
Akua Njeri was lying next to the chairman when he was shot. She was 8 months pregnant at the time with Fred Hampton Jr.
I know that they would murder me and my baby, my unborn child. So I was focusing on not crying.
In many cases, my birth certificate almost was my death certificate.
The assassination sparked nationwide protests, and now Fred Hampton Jr. is stepping into his father's shoes to carry out the mission of racial equality.
Self-determination, the right to determine the destiny of our lives. There's a difference between living and existing.
That Fred Hampton gene wore off on him. Now he's following the footsteps of his father out there, you know, speaking truth to power, speaking life into black folks. I salute that.
That is self-determination.
Chairman Dr. Fred Hampton Jr. says he wants to keep his family's legacy alive by buying the property where his father was killed and turning it into a museum. Additionally, he says he wants to take this empty lot next door and turn it into a remembrance park.
To be here today, 55 years later, with the people, you know what I'm saying, still remember the legacy of Chairman Fred.
Chairman Fred lives.
Yeah, that's right on.
Chairman Fred lives.
Just a few blocks down from a mural of Fred Hampton. They'll be here next year, holding up their right fist, keeping his legacy alive.
10 minutes.
Rain, sun.
I hope they do get that museum up there in Chicago where Fred Hampton was unalive and make it a museum, because that'd be something impactful for the community. I'll probably come up there and see that, truth be told. I would like to see something like that, a museum of Fred Hampton, discussing his life and legacy and stuff like that, because it was very cowardice what they did to Fred Hampton. And, he was at the height, and he was impacting people, and they didn't want that, so they had to bring him down. But Sister the Golden Child, I'll be seeing your channel. You be making those seafood broils. I love them. You know what I mean? I'm a big seafood guy. I'll be seeing your channel. I subscribe too, because I'll be seeing you cooking it up with the seafood broils, like the crab legs and that stuff. All that stuff be looking good, man. I love them seafood broils. We got a place out here in York, where I'm at, York, PA, and they got like they're a little bit expensive though. They got like seafood broils, and I think for two you're gonna pay around $100 and some, but it's real good. They put corn on the cob in there, and then they got like different flavors of seasoning that they throw in that bag, that plastic bag, with all of the potatoes, the crab legs, the shrimp, and stuff like that. But them seafood broils be on point. But what else did I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about should foundational Black American freedmen be federally acknowledged on them paperwork classifications, because to my knowledge and understanding, like when you go fill out an application or you got some kind of thing to fill out, all of they got is to classify Black people as African American, and everyone is classified as an African American. People coming over from the diaspora, anyone Black they throw in there and lump everybody together as an African American, and we ain't no African Americans. This is because they do this a lot of times to try to get us to deny this land over here in America. We're foundational Black Americans. We need something that, says freedmen, where we're not classified and thrown in there with everyone else. We're not even culturally African as foundational Black Americans. You know what I mean? We got our own culture and things like that. So we need our own classification to represent us, to be federally recognized. I think that, we shouldn't just be thrown in there with, like, let's say African immigrants that come over from the diaspora. They're African Americans. You know what I mean? We're foundational Black Americans. We need something that, states freedmen. They already got freedmen, I believe, federally recognized from when we had the Freedmen's Bank and stuff like that, so we need to, get back to that term. And, I see a lot of people still calling themselves African American, and I would say we should do away with that term African American and start just focusing on freedmen or FBA, because, that's a classification that, if we get that classification, we can go on to do some things, having that, be recognized now in today's time, getting that on the paperwork, after when you go for to rent a home or whatever, when you go to the doctors, it should be on that paperwork, or whenever you go fill out a job application, instead of that term African American, because that term African American is too broad. We need something to be, specifically stating foundational Black Americans, you know what I mean? Because we got ties to this land. A lot of these other Black immigrants, they don't got no ties to this land. This is why they don't work hard to fight injustice and oppression. They don't want to, this is why a lot of them aren't even for us getting reparations, because they don't have the same history and the same, ties to this land and the fight as we as foundational Black Americans do. Because we come from, our people were enslaved over here, so we got a different fight in us, and a lot of times we work to knock the system of racism and justice down. And a lot of people, they just turn a blind eye. They just happy to be over here, truth be told. So we need to start, pushing to get that, federally recognized, that term, and, to be on paperwork and stuff like that, freedmen or something like that. I'm in favor of that, because just dumping us in with African American, that's, everybody can subscribe to African American. And they said that term was brought around in the 80s by Jesse Jackson, and we ain't no African Americans. Other people are, but we ain't. We're foundational Black Americans. But let's continue. Yeah, I'm gonna get to this. This is what, Sister the Golden Child, this is what you was waiting for. This is, gonna be the grand finale right here of what I wanted to talk about. The UnitedHealthcare, the CEO got gunned down out there in Manhattan, broad daylight. Now, I'm not buying, him getting gunned down in broad daylight. This wasn't, no random willy-nilly, no random Joe Schmo. And I was looking at his stance. He held the gun like this. He had a silencer on it. And it looked like, you know, he was crouched a little bit, you know, his knees was bent a little bit, you know, as if he was like in a semi-squat position. So which leads me to believe this guy knew right good and well what he was doing. You know, he probably was a trained shooter. They say the gun jam and he got the gun, you know, to continue to fire, and he had a silencer on that gun, you know. And he was just so bold and brazen that to be in middle of Manhattan, all of them people around, he didn't give a damn, like he done this before, you know, and all of them cameras out there. And now they say the guy got away on an electric bike. It's funny. I don't mean to laugh, but it's funny that they said he got away on an electric bike, which leads me to believe that, you know, this could have been some kind of inside job, you know, some kind of inside job. Now they do say that the Justice Department was suing United Healthcare. They were suing United Healthcare because they didn't want them to acquire another company. They was trying to buy another company up, and this would enable them to become a monopoly then, because American healthcare is one of the largest healthcare providers, the largest companies in America. You know what I mean? And for this guy just to be gunned down, broad daylight, the middle of Manhattan, you know, it just something just don't add up. You know, it was more than meets the eye. And for him to have a silencer on it, he was laying out there in wait of this guy. And if you watch the video of this whole ordeal, which I went back and watched it, I go over there to X sometimes, Twitter, and watch the videos because they got the more graphic content. Like a lot of times on YouTube, when you look up a video, they'll censor it, put that graphic discretion up there advised, and they just won't show you the whole video. But now over there on X, I was seeing when the guy was shooting, there was a woman up there in the doorway of another business or something. She was just standing there like this. She was in shock. And then they said that eventually she ran off, but she was just standing there. So would suggest he could have shot her, but would suggest he wasn't worried about her. This was a targeted hit because he let her go. He knew right who he came there for. You know, he probably had some instructions from somebody, you know, as to who to take out. And the fact that he was out there with no bodyguard or protection, that was really telling to me too, because why not have, you're that high profile of a guy, you know, he got millions of dollars and, you know, and he's prominent. So why not have some kind of bodyguard or protection out there with you? He was just out there naked. You know what I mean? And it just don't add up to me. I heard the suspect had on a black mask. Yeah, they said he had on a black mask, but then I heard he was a white guy. So they know that much though, that he was a white man. You know, truth be told, we as black people ain't doing nothing like that. That's too, you know, that's crazy. Just going out there in Manhattan, silencer on the gun, middle of Manhattan, you just clap up a person, gun them down. And the CEO made 23 million in a year. He had to be corrupt. Yeah, he probably could have been corrupt. Yeah. I don't know as to just all the logistics, but I know it probably was an inside job and it had to be a professional hit. Yeah, I think it was a professional hit though, because I was looking at the guy's stance. He had his legs like bent. It's almost as if when you go to do a squat and he was like this, you know what I mean? So his stance and everything, that's like a professional stance. And he had a silencer on the gun. So he came prepared, you know, on the instructions of somebody that paid him, you know, that put him out there to do it. Because I don't believe he was, you know, he's not the ultimate guy. He's just the front guy. He's the scapegoat. If this thing goes south and they do end up recovering him, he's the guy that's going to take, you know, to take the fall. You know, he's the fall guy because there's more hands involved in this. If you ask me, he was just a guy that got put out there. But why can't they find him now? How the hell can you escape on an electric bike in the middle of Manhattan and all them cameras around? Because I was listening to brother Tariq Nasheed, and they had New York callers call it in, and a lot of guys from Harlem, the Bronx, and you know that terrain of New York. They say down there in Manhattan, it's video cameras everywhere. You can't go nowhere without being recorded. You know, so they probably know who he is. You know what I mean? Or it was an inside job, or a lot of people were saying it could even been a police officer that done this. You know, I don't know, but I know it was more than meets the eye. It's not no regular Joe Smo that done this. It couldn't have been, because the accuracy of him shooting and him laying out there and wait, he had to know the times. He had to know when this guy was coming and going. And he came prepared with the silencer and the mask, the backpack, the electric bike. How the hell he got away on an electric bike, that's beyond me. I don't know how, you know, he could have got away on that, you know what I mean, without nobody seeing him in the area. And they say that they got security all in through that area. you know, ever since 9/11 happened, that the New York security has been tightened in that city as a whole. So it just don't add up, you know. And this wasn't no random, you know, hit. It was targeted, you know, done at this man. I don't know who he angered, who he pissed off. And they say a lot of the times if you follow the money, you know, so it's somewhere it's all going to boil down to money. Once they find out about it, you know, it's all going to boil down to money. Because once you trace the money and start looking at the money, looking at things logically, that's how I like to look at things. And I was always taught, you know, once you want to know who did a crime, follow the money. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times when things happen, it's 9 times out of 10, it's done over money. When you look at crimes being committed, people, most of the time, they doing crimes not just to do them, they trying to get some kind of financial gain out of the crime. So who stood to gain from this? I think that, you know, they should start looking in that direction maybe too. Who stood to gain from not having that CEO around? You know, follow the money. Because this sure as hell wasn't no random isolated incident. No regular average Joe Smo did this, you know, just the stats, you know, suggest that, you know, it was crazy how he was standing. And then the kicker is, I almost forgot this. His wife said that, you know, he had been getting threats prior to this, you know, but they didn't say as to what kind of or who was giving these threats, but this man was getting threats. So evidently he must have pissed some people off, you know, and it could be in retaliation to that, because I forgot about that. His wife said that he'd been getting threats calls at the home, and they didn't specify now on the news because they're being tight-lipped about it. You know what I mean? They probably don't want to leak it all out to the public. Like in the same way with that school shooting out there in California that we just talked about, they didn't leak that school shooter's name either to the public. You know, they was keeping that tight-lipped. They know who he is, but they said they're not trying to leak it out right now. And a lot of times this is what they do when they have major cases like this. They hold on to that information, little detailed information. They don't want it to get out to the public. You know what I mean? Because a lot of the times the police think that, you know, when they get to the public, that people are going to start making videos and change the narrative of how people view things and start, you know, saying things that, you know, they say that they'll start putting out false truths, this, that, or the other. But he certainly was getting threats coming to his home, this guy. And I don't know what that was about, but I say to just follow the money, because a lot of times when you follow the money, you'll find out who you're looking for. A lot of crimes is just done off of people getting financial gain, you know, or you piss somebody off. And it could be, you know, over love too. People do a lot of crimes too based off of love. You know, you messing with somebody's wife, then, you know, that husband, you know, find you in bed with his wife, you end up dead. You know, a lot of things is done off of that too. But I know this wasn't no random isolated incident, how this went down and all took place. And the dude escaped on an electric bike. Man, that gets me, that part right there, him escaping on an electric bike. And they said the gun did jam though. So if the gun jammed and he continued to fire, this guy was like, hell, you know, because most people, if a gun jammed, they're going to run. They're going to be scared that they're going to be caught. So if the gun jammed and he continued to fire, it lets me know he didn't give a damn. He was probably there on instructions that, you know, we need this guy up out of here, you know, so we got to get him going. You know, we don't want to hear otherwise. And the fact that the Justice Department was also suing in a civil case UnitedHealthcare from acquiring some company, that's crazy too. Because they say evidently they didn't want them to become some big monopoly, but evidently they wanted the biggest companies in America. So we just have to see how this whole thing turns out. It's interesting, and it's an interesting dynamic, you know. And I don't know what that guy was into, but you know, they're probably looking now into his dealings to see, you know, if he was a honest guy, you know, or was he doing some kind of illegal dealings behind the scene? Because you never know if he was doing any. I think you said that, sister, the Golden Child, like he might have been corrupt or something like that. I think you said that somewhere in one of these texts. Yeah, but you never know his coming and goings or what he was involved in. So they got to look at that aspect of it. And I'm just interested to see how this thing turns out. But if I catch any information, I'm going to bring it back to the family. I'm going to probably put out a pre-recorded video if I see anything, you know, here or there. Or maybe I might come back with a live stream depending on how I feel. Because I got to really be in the mood to put out these live streams. Yeah, this is interesting. And this is one hell of a story going on, you know, to just gun down somebody. This is like a mafia hit. You know, I don't know if any of the family that's going to watch this on the pre-recorded playback, the playback of it, or the Golden Child, I don't know if you sister ever remember like the Mafia used to do hits like this. It was a hit in like the 80s or something like that, where they hit Paul Castellano. This kind of reminds me of that. He was the Mafia boss at the time of the Gambinos, and they hit him right down there in New York. I think it was Manhattan as well. And they hit him not broad daylight, but they hit him around like evening time when he was going to a steakhouse. And this was during the Christmas season. John Gotti and Sammy the Bull, they hit him right out there, broad daylight. So this suggests you don't give a damn when you hit somebody out there broad daylight or when there's a massive amount of people around. It reminds me of Keisha and the hit in New Jack City. Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot about New Jack City. Yeah. When you do stuff like this, though, you don't give a damn. In all actuality, you don't give a damn about being caught or nothing. You know what I mean? You ain't got nothing to lose, because a regular person ain't going to do this, something like that, because they going to think about that getting caught. I don't give a damn how much money somebody offered me, to do something like that. I ain't doing it because 9 times out of 10, you're going to get caught. You know what I mean? You're always going to think about, the getting caught. There's so many people around. So that suggests to me that the person didn't give a damn. They didn't give a damn about being caught. So the mission and the purpose was more greater to them than getting caught, because they know they could have got caught, or if they, was an inside job, somebody higher up had their hands in it, somebody with some power to make sure that these people wouldn't be brought to justice. Because how the hell you escape from doing a hit like that in Manhattan, broad daylight, is beyond me. But yeah, I'm getting ready to sign out of here, Sister the Golden Child. How is the living up there? You said it's nice up there in Illinois, where you at? It sounds nice though. I'm gonna get out there to Illinois though. That's on my bucket list. You know what I mean? I want to get out there and patronize some of them black stores and vendors out there and stuff. I want to start doing a little bit more traveling myself. But everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Sister the Golden Child, enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm tapped into your channel too. I'll be catching those seafood broils you do. So thanks for tapping in with me. And yeah, watch it on the playback to any of the family who haven't, caught it from the beginning. Watch it on the playback, because we was breaking down a good bit of things. I didn't want to be on here too long. I just wanted to come in here real quick and tap in with the family. And everybody be safe out there. Take care of yourself. Be aware, family, because to be aware is to be alive. Just my thoughts on the matter. Peace. Peace, sister.